Calling to order. Welcome back. I'm top music attorney, Miss Krystle, and this is the Top Music Attorney podcast, the place where you learn all about the entertainment business, how to stay legally protected, and we're doing it all here for free. Now, we are on the live chat on Facebook, LinkedIn, and where else? YouTube. We're live everywhere, so make sure you guys are filing in. Leave your comments, leave your questions. Don't forget to like. When you like the live stream, it helps to push it out to the rest of the YouTube universe. And so if you guys like this content, if you support us, please be sure to hit that like button. In today's show, we're covering in the newsy segment that, well, first and foremost, the streaming wars are over. So there are big changes coming to Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Plus and all the streamy things, and we all need to know about it and discuss it. We're talking about the Pussycat Dolls lawsuit and it's getting a little crazy, and I had a chance to pull what Nicole Scherzinger, if I said that right, Scherzinger? For you fans, let me know if I'm saying it right. But in any case, what Nicole filed in response to being sued in the millions and millions of dollars for this canceled tour. So we're going to talk all about that. We have a couple other things. And then in my artist tip segment, I'm going to be discussing, do you need to give power of attorney to your personal manager? The answer is going to surprise you. So make sure you stay tuned for that tip. Hi, everyone in the chat. We're going to run the intro, and we're just going to kind of get straight into things. So as you're filing, let me know where you're checking in from, right? Where are you checking in from? What time is it? It's about 7 p.m. here. We're a few minutes late because we're trying to get some things situated with the live stream. But I'm really looking forward to tonight's show and checking in. So let's run the intro, and I will be right back. Hi guys, I'm top music attorney Miss Krystle. I'm an entertainment attorney, public speaker, and creator of the Top Music Attorney School for artists and record labels. I'm the owner of Dukes Up Records, and most importantly, I'm an independent artist. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss my weekly videos giving you my best tips on the music business, industry news updates, and teaching you how to stay legally protected. Let's go. Hey, it's amazing what you can get done in 30 seconds. I'm like sending emails. I'm getting stuff that I forgot done. Ooh, we on fire today. I felt this degree of tension all throughout the day. And if you guys kind of work, desk jobs and maybe even anything that you do, let me know in the chat. But do you feel tension in your body, and do you recognize it throughout the day as you are literally tense, right? And stressed and dealing with things? I'm becoming a little more aware of how this is happening, and I'm pretty tense. I think I'm like ready to fight most of the time. Hello in the chat. Thank you everyone for being here. I should have put a picture so I could show you guys, but on the way home from my office, my law office, there was this insane sandstorm, and it was so crazy because it was just like blowing through the freeway, and a part of me was like, this probably isn't that safe, but what else am I gonna do? And it was so incredibly dark, in the middle of the day, but it was just in this 100-yard stretch. It was so crazy. The winds were going crazy. It was kind of fun to be driving through it, to be honest. But that's kind of what's going on here. Nicole, who? Stop it. You know you love Pussycat Dolls. And in fact, we're going to be talking about just how important Nicole is for the brand. Still loving the hair. Thank you very much. What are we going to do but have fun with the hair? 2 p.m. New Zealand. Yay! My mama's from New Zealand. I'm a Kiwi too. Love you guys. Good evening from Ohio. 10 p.m. All right. Roughly 10 p.m. All right. I'm so happy to see you guys here. So I don't know if anyone was on the live stream yesterday. We did a quick live stream on Miss Krystle Instagram where I did a sing along, and then we went and premiered middle of the night. Now I'm gonna do like a second premiere at the end of today's show for middle of the night the video, and we can watch that all together. Now, before we get to that, we're going to be watching God Save Me But Don't Drown Me Out, which was originally by Yungblud. But in any case, oh, we got South Africa. Very nice. The South Pole. Oh man, we have all the friends in here today. I'm so excited. Yeah, so I have been getting a lot of requests randomly. This last week I've been getting a lot of requests from different organizations that want me to come out and speak. And I'm kind of trying to do it where either if I'm going to do some speaking presentation or, talk to a law school or whatever, that I'll either have my video team there to capture it and then we'll repurpose it and share it on the channel, or maybe we could just live stream here. I don't know. But I really love when we have the opportunity to have you guys on the live stream and sharing in all the things. We have another New Zealand. Wow. I'm very excited about that. All right, Andrew on Facebook. A little hack: when you feel tension in your body, focus on breathing with your abdomen. Relax, people, breathe that way. It will help your body and mind to relax. Very good tip. Thank you very much. Yes, I hear diaphragmatic breathing is the way to go, and it's the way to trick your brain into thinking that everything's okay. Because, they're like, although you can consciously know that you're okay and you're not fighting a lion and there's nothing to fear, we still will stress ourselves out so much, causing the same kind of reaction as if, right? We're fighting a lion, we're doing something crazy, and so we're in this panic state. Our body's releasing cortisol, and, we're in that fight or flight mode. So from what I understand, the breathing is really important. Thank you very much for that. Hey. All right. So let's see. As far as, per usual, if you guys have questions, legal questions about what's going on in the news, for our stories today, which we'll be doing in our news segment after we watch the music video, we'll bring that Orko in, and we like to hyper-focus on just a couple of the stories. And I think the one having to do with streaming services, it's kind of a follow-up to what we did on a prior live stream, where we were talking about how, is this the end of Netflix? Netflix lost almost 1 million subscribers. Everyone's jumping ship. And so we had an interesting discussion about why that's happening. But now there's been a little bit of an update. So we're touching on that. We are going to be talking about Nicole and Pussycat Dolls and all the fiasco kind of going on with that. And like I said, we have one or two other things that we are going to be touching on. All right, so guys, I do have merch on Miss Krystle. I'm not going to pull this comment on, but for any of those kind of asking about my posters, yes, we have posters. We have all kinds of interesting posters. We are sold out on some of them, but I did kind of this run of, summer themed, in bikinis and stuff like that. So we did have some specialized posters, but they are limited. So some of them are sold out already. There are a couple left. So for those of you asking, if you want to get a poster, go to Miss Krystle before they sell out. We're literally down to the last 5, I think. But anyway, I sign them. Whatever you guys want to do. And then I'm sure we'll have, some more fun stuff coming out soon. Love the glasses. Thank you. I was talking to my operations manager today, and I was talking about how important having blue light canceling glasses is for me now. And I'm noticing the difference when I don't wear them and I'm at the computer for extended periods of time. My eyeballs hurt. It's no fun. So I don't know if you guys are into the blue light canceling glasses, but I am. I'm obsessed. Tell us about yourself. Well, you have to be more specific, Danny. What do you want to know? There's so many things to share. And this is, in fact, a live stream that we're going to be talking about, more importantly, you guys, and making sure that you are learning, basically how to think like an attorney, right? How to strategize, how to run your careers if you are in the entertainment business. But a lot of what we cover here as well is just teaching you how to be badass attorneys without having to go to law school. Yes, save the eyes. Posters. You can find posters on misskrystle.com. We talked about this on a prior live stream about maybe doing a top music attorney calendar. I think that would be fun. Imagine the outfits. It could just be fabulous. But in the meantime, and until we have something official like that, you can get posters. I fulfill all my orders because, especially for the stuff related to my music, it's very important to me that I send you guys like special notes and all this stuff. So if you do want to get something, go over to misskrystle.com. Thank you very much. I enjoy the eyesight. Yes to the blue light canceling glasses. Yes to the calendar. All right, you get a calendar. I'm gonna be like Oprah. You get a calendar, and you get a calendar. All right, so we're gonna run this music video, and then we will be back to talk about all the newsy things. So let's do that. I'll be in the chat for a minute while this is running, and then we will be right back with that Orko. Calm me down before I say, 'cause I don't know where I've just been, and the morning seems so far away, and the drugs just hit so wide awake. Not gonna waste my life, 'cause I've been messed up, 'cause it doesn't matter, so waste my time, and God save all of us, and the walls they'll shatter, I won't let my insecurities define who I am. Not gonna waste my life, 'cause I've been messed up, 'cause it doesn't matter. Take a breath and try to think straight, 'cause there is so much pressure on my brain, and my blood runs thin, 'cause I'm off my face, and my shoulders weigh more than I can take. Not gonna waste my life, 'cause I've been messed up, 'cause it doesn't matter, so waste my time, and God save all of us, and the walls they'll shatter, I won't let my insecurities define who I am. Not gonna waste my life, 'cause I've been messed up, 'cause it doesn't matter. God save all of us. 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 Not gonna waste my life, 'cause I've been messed up, 'cause it doesn't matter, so waste my time, and God save all of us, and the walls they'll shatter, I won't let my insecurities define who I am. Not gonna waste my life, 'cause I've been messed up, 'cause it doesn't matter.
Nice.
Hey, welcome back. Oh, you guys are sweet. You better sing, honey.
You
All
better
right, so
sing.
I saw Sean had a question. That's right. So Sean asks, what are some of my musical influences and some of the biggest influences on me? Prodigy, Korn, Rammstein, kind of that era for me. It was very rock driven. I really liked rock shock art, and that was hugely influential on me. Even though I was kind of doing pop, it ended up being more dark pop, pop rock, and that's what I'm doing today.
Very cool.
How we
And
doing that, Orko?
we're doing great. I'll tell you what, I am pretty exhausted. I got like 3 hours of sleep. So my schedule is I pretty much work 14 hours a day every day. I kind of feel like, anywhere between 10 and 14 hours, 7 days a week. And sometimes I don't get sleep. I usually go to bed about 5 o'clock in the morning. And then, I get up at 2 though. So I'm still getting my sleep, you understand. But
Yeah, no,
and last night
you
was
gotta,
just
it's scientific. You gotta get those 8 hours of sleep. It's your brain starts to collapse on itself or something like that. So no,
but
you need to get your rest.
yeah, but I woke up and I couldn't get back to sleep, so it was a little rough. And because I was, real excited because we got these new songs that we're working on. You should have gotten, an MP3 of a demo of our, latest one that we did the vocals for this morning. Working on these new songs. We got about to send the second one away to the mixer here really soon. Very excited. This new album that we're working on is shaping up to be really cool. Still in that dark pop vein, especially if you like some of these covers. It's not far off in some of the, especially in the genre and the style of some of them. They're just a lot more intense, I would say.
We need to know, where do you buy your hats?
Oh, well, this is a Billionaire Boys Club hat, so I got it from Billionaire Boys Club website.
Hell yeah. All right, so we got some great news stories. It was kind of hard picking them out. We're trying to be kind of
There's a
focused with
lot.
our time. But let's jump into the first one. So, the streaming wars are over.
Yes.
Okay, so when it comes to Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, and all your favorite streaming platforms, things are changing. And what's happening is that, it seems to be that particularly since Disney came on in with Disney Plus, I feel like that kind of initiated a portion of this huge change that we're seeing, including with Netflix and the fact that Netflix lost, I don't know, almost a million, who was
I
that,
know what
Ripley?
happened. I'm all messed up. I told you I'm on no sleep. I'm actually hitting buttons. I'm trying to switch
No,
windows
but
here.
a million people jump ship from Netflix, and we were discussing why is that? So what's happening now is that there's so much competition between these services, and they're putting out such incredible content
Right.
and original content as well, right? They're not only purchasing all of our favorite legacy films and TV shows, but now they're putting out content. And, for example, Netflix. I think that they have a $6 billion budget for the purpose of developing their own content. But there's so many options that now it's not about who's the cheapest. They don't
Right.
care about that. Everyone now is raising their prices. And
Right.
so that's what we're going to be seeing across the board.
No, and it's kind of a significant price increase, and it just kind of goes to show that everything in the world just kind of always does kind of come full circle. Before we were cutting the cable cord or cutting the cord for cable so we can get these streaming services and all this kind of stuff because we're getting value, and now like they're not even really necessarily trying to compete with each other because they've kind of tapped out of the market and stuff, and everyone's kind of going to their thing. So now it's about bundles. And with Disney, I don't know if they own Hulu or if they just own half of it, but they got that Hulu, they got that ESPN, and then they're doing these bundle packages, and combined now they have more subscribers. Disney Plus, combined has more subscribers than Netflix, which is kind of like a huge move now. I mean, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, so especially I was looking at some of these pricings, and I go, for Disney Plus, they have their bundle with Hulu and ESPN, right? So there's an opportunity to get it, and at $12.99 a month, I think we're still actually paying for everything separately. So to me, I'm like, oh, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Let's go over and get the Disney bundle. And
Yeah.
so well, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Yeah, no. I'm just saying. Yeah, it just makes and that's kind of the pricing scheme. Well, we might go through some of these prices because there's quite a difference. Generally, you're going to be paying. I think it's like $30 more a year. And some of the plans they actually don't offer yearly plans, so you have to go like month by month. But generally, if you're getting, depends what kind of bundle or price tier you get. But generally, you're going to be spending about $30 more. But yeah, no. I mean, this is great because the way that they were pricing it is from their individuals to the ad tiers to the full on paid. They want you just to kind of get everything. So they price it accordingly. So, like, you're going to end up wanting to get the deluxe package because it's only a couple dollars more than the medium, the small, medium, and large. Can we upsize you for 50 cents more? They kind of want everyone just to kind of get everything. So the price is, you know, there's just no more free tiers on anything where you may have been used to free tiers.
Right. Now, I don't know, for those of you watching right now, how many people for any of these platforms are using the free
What's your
tier.
favorite?
For me, and what's your favorite? But for me, ads drive me crazy. I can't.
Yeah,
And
I can.
I've upgraded everywhere just so I don't have to listen to ads. But, is it potentially bad news for your wallet that now, these different platforms are requiring higher pricing because now we do have packages? Is it really a price hike?
Well, it is, but like, the thing of it is, I've mentioned this before when it's come to other streaming services like Spotify and, these Pandoras and these things where we used to back in the day go to record stores and buy albums and have to buy full albums. And now we're just getting things at such a whatever. And we were complaining because, oh no, now Netflix has taken away the buddy system or whatever. Not buddy system, you know what I mean? Password sharing and stuff like that. So people can log in everywhere. It's like, yeah, you know, it's about time we start paying our fair share, but it's going to hurt for a while. But I mean, these services, these shows are not cheap. All these services, they had to go to this. Disney couldn't keep doing these discount things. They lost a lot of money, and then they started getting money, I think, in the last quarter. But now they're like, now it's time to. We had the introductory. You got a taste of what we can offer, and you kind of got to have them all because I think right now on Netflix we're just watching Blown Away, the glass
Yeah, no,
blowing
we
show.
are the
What are you
the
watching? What are
glass
you
because I
watching?
always say that glass blowing
Blowing,
show,
yeah.
blown away, and we're sort of watching. We're watching it, but we're kind of we fast forward a lot
I
of
play
stuff. We're like we
basketball.
just want to it's a casual watching, but anyway, it's still interesting content and it's getting our time.
But but
So
Netflix is really banging on this original programming. They had they have Stranger Things, but I need a new Stranger Things. That's going to be a few years. We don't, they had, what was the other one? The Squid Game. Waiting for those Squid Game things. But I mean, the problem with also, which we have grown accustomed to is being able to just binge watch and everything is released all at once and then you're done with it in 3 days and then you're like, Netflix sucks. Well, they just gave you the best show of your year, but you're like, it sucks because I'm over it in 3 days because I just spent, so you kind of run out. So it's a good thing we have Hulu. You got Only Murders in the Building on Hulu. We're
all
still
right, well,
watching
no,
those Cutthroat
appa-
Kitchens.
apparently there's a show called not. Oh wait, Science Moms. So there's a show called Science Moms. That sounds fun.
What's
What
that?
platform is that on?
What is that?
Yes. I don't know. Let's see. I'm gonna do a
That sounds
search
fun.
right now. Let's see what it is.
But so we're watching like, or a couple of those shows on Hulu. I think we just watched the Bjork movie, and I think that was like on Peacock. I think they were streaming movies. They're starting to stream movies. Amazon, we have The Boys. I'm still waiting for the new what's his name? Not Jack Reacher. What's his name? The dude from The Office, his movie or TV show where he's like a
Oh right, he's
CIA.
a.
Jack Ryan. They need to bring that. I heard they
I'm
got
like
2 more
Josh
seasons of that.
something.
Yeah,
Right.
Jack Ryan. If you haven't seen Jack Ryan on Amazon, that show is awesome. It gives me 24 vibes, which is one of the greatest shows ever.
I know.
Um,
See, let's 24 amazing show. Literally watched every single episode because that Orko loved the show so much. I don't have any problem with the show. It's an amazing show, but for me, I just was not quite as
oh my
into it
god,
as you
for me
were.
there wasn't a bad episode ever. Like that show is one that never jumped the shark. It was incredible. Oh, I wish I could watch that show again for the first time. 24, shout out.
Mm-mm. So in any
So
case, obviously there are these changes coming. Be aware of it, and then our question for especially the leader right now. They're saying the conglomerate of Disney, because Disney owns a lot of these platforms, collectively they have now reached more subscribership than
yeah.
Netflix, which is the first time in a long time. Netflix has always been the leader. Now you could still
So
argue
that
Netflix is still in charge.
Yeah, and that breaks down to Netflix has 220 million, and then so that's their end. But Disney Plus is running everything else, and they got 152 million just for Disney Plus. ESPN Plus has 22.8 million, and I think Hulu is at 46.2. So I don't know. Hulu's great. They're all great. Like Disney Plus is great. Obi-Wan Kenobi, all the Star Wars content. I mean, that's all I watch it for. I don't watch anything else, but um, I like it. I like having it all. And I guess at the end of the day, it's still better than like or cable or having to get satellite because you don't have to worry about commercials and you can just kind of watch it on demand and stuff. But we've been taking advantage of the system too long, and it's time to pay.
It's time to pay. All right, so let's move on then to our next story. So you guys having lots of conversations in the chat, which I love. I'm glad you guys are getting a chance to know each other and make friends.
Make friends.
Friends. Friends are great. All right, so Nicole Scherzinger sues Pussycat Dolls
Scherzinger.
founder. Really?
Scherzinger.
That's what I said.
Did you?
Nicole Scherzinger,
Close enough.
right?
Close enough?
Why don't we start this segment over? Oh, correct me. All right,
Spell
let's
it
try
out
again.
phonetically. Spell it out phonetically in the chat how you are spelling Scherzinger. I'm gonna be sending Eric a message.
You better watch out. All right, let's try again for the segment, okay? All right, so here we go. Nicole Scherzinger sues Pussycat Dolls.
Yeah, start over again. I told you I got no sleep. I'm tired. Y'all in the chat are having a good moment.
This is what happens when we're trying to record content, like, for real, and then someone's laughing, and then we just let's take a breath. Let's take a breath. Everyone, calm down.
Come on, I feel like I'm filming an episode of The Office. I just saw some funny bloopers earlier today on my feed, and it reminded me of this moment. All right, here we go.
All right. You're killing.
All right, go.
All right, well, you got to keep your face together when we have this segment later on. People are going to be clicking on this video for the first time, like, what is wrong with them?
Oh my God, like this part will be all out of it. You see how I don't know if you guys ever watch back the clips of this if you missed some of this, but
you guys better be watching back the clips later. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, make sure that when you guys see us in the feed, support the channel. If you're here every week, that means you love us. Just show support. Just hit like on a couple of those guys, eh? Mm-hmm. All right, here we go.
Lead singer Nicole Scherzinger sues the Pussycat Dolls founder Robin Antin and for fraud. And this has to do with the reunion tour that fell apart. Now, this was a cross complaint. So let me paint the picture for you guys. The founder, Robin, had put together this intended tour, and then COVID happened. The tour gets pushed back, and it was scheduled from May 2021 to June 2021. I point that out because that's kind of a short tour, right? So not necessarily a ton of dates, pretty short tour. But Robin puts together this tour, and then the whole thing falls apart. We're going to talk about why it fell apart, and she's suing Nicole. And she's saying Nicole interfered, Nicole didn't do what she was supposed to do, and now I've been damaged in the millions of dollars. So Nicole now, almost a year later, fires back. And she's filed a cross complaint saying, no, Robin was the one that did all these bad acts that resulted in a ton of damage, including to me and my brand, my name and likeness. We're going to talk about what the actual claims are, but this thing is just getting started. So that's why we want to make sure to cover it. And I pulled the complaint that Nicole filed, so we'll be taking a look at that together.
Yeah, no, this is an interesting story because would actually be pretty stoked for a Pussycat Dolls reunion. I like the Pussycat Dolls. I like a lot of their songs, and I've actually seen them live. I thought they were a really good band live. But this whole thing, and when I was reading up a little bit on it before the show, like it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so again, let's go back through. In her suit, Robin said that she worked out this deal in 2019 with Nicole, and Nicole was to headline the reunion tour for the Pussycat Dolls that would feature brand new members. Okay, but Nicole was the main feature. Now, Robin said she took out this massive loan, and this was from Live Nation, and she was in reliance on Nicole. She goes, I'm going to do this. We're doing it together. Great. So she takes it out, and then the suit says that Nicole agreed to perform 45 shows and that she would receive 49% of the profits. Okay, so almost
that's pretty good. When I saw that, I was like, all right.
The tour was scheduled again from May to June of 2021, but then got rescheduled because of the pandemic. Robin said Nicole even showed her support by liking, this was how she showed her support apparently, liking an Instagram post that announced the tour dates. Despite all this, Robin said, at the last minute, Nicole tried to rework the contract points. And she says that Nicole came back and said, no, I'm going to take 75% of all the profits, and I get to have complete creative control over the tour. So Robin refused, and then the whole thing fell apart. Okay, so that was why Robin filed this lawsuit in the first place. Now, before we move on to now what Nicole is saying, what do you think about that? So taking Robin's statement of facts as true, Nicole comes back, tries to renegotiate. Does that sound reasonable?
It sounds like a couple things might have been going on. Someone got a hold of Nicole after she already had signed the thing. They're like, "What are you doing? Like, you are the Pussycat Dolls. Why are you only taking half?" Or maybe she was thinking, "You know what? I don't really want to go. I don't really want to do it. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to say, look, if you guys will give me like 70 something, whatever, then I'll do it." But then, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe like she wanted to get out of it a little bit, and then she just wanted to see what she could get, and then she just kind of thought more about it because maybe that started ruffling feathers and stuff like that, and then it became like a whole thing. And I don't know.
Now,
I'm
my
obviously speculating.
question, my question, because if Nicole had come to the table initially and said, "This whole thing is based on me. You're gonna
Right.
have a successful tour for the Pussycat Dolls because of me and only me." So in that
Well, they
kind
were
of
going to
instance, if
replace.
it's Pitbull,
They were going to replace it. It wasn't going to. I don't think it
well,
was
we'll
going to be
talk
all of
about
them.
that. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But if it was like Pitbull, right? If it was anybody else, and they're saying, "No, this is my tour. I should get the majority of earnings, and then you guys get whatever," would it be more reasonable? And I would say yes. The question though that I have is, had they agreed on that 49%? Because that's a different thing. If you
Right.
have like a letter of intent and they've agreed, we're going to do this amount of money, we're going to have these dates, some general terms. If you come back and you say, "No, I've reneged and I'm changing my mind," well, then in that case, Robin may have proper grounds for breach of contract. But we don't know that. Now,
No, for sure.
Nicole has fired back in this cross complaint. So now what she's saying is Robin and Pussycat Dolls Incorporated, right? The company that Robin co owns. She's accusing Robin of misusing the funds, and she said, quote, "earmarked to pay reunion tour expenses and the unauthorized use of Nicole's name and likeness." So apparently, Robin got, gun happy, or however you say that,
Hmm.
gun ho
Trigger
happy,
happy.
sugar, yeah, trigger happy. We're trying to think of words here. And she starts marketing this thing. And this was before they actually had agreed to do the tour. And so she goes, "Number one, that was a problem because you exploited my name and likeness to get this commercial benefit without my permission."
Yeah, let's
Okay, so
speculate on that. So, I mean, she's got the go ahead, and maybe she's talking, maybe she's doing a little bit of leaking and stuff, and maybe she's feeling it out, the reception, to see how big, so maybe they can get more money and then get some more dates. I mean, some of that is kind of whatever. I mean, I don't know if they had already agreed to it at that point, but yeah.
well, then she went on. She goes, "Robin did a whole lot of things to actually waste, these funds, right?" So Robin's talking about, "I got this loan." And then Nicole says,
Right.
well, for example, Robin's self dealing included extorting $30,000 in fees, which she was contractually prohibited from taking. And that included paying, I guess, Robin's manager for in the amount of $175,000 for little to nothing related to the reunion. So she goes, "We have this monies that are supposed to be spent on the tour." Robin goes and starts spending it. She's not supposed to be doing that. She's not allowed to be doing that. So that's number one.
Mm.
But apparently, there was a little $100,000 expense paid to Pia Mia. Okay, and I actually found a couple of little videos I wanted to just kind of play as we're chatting about this. But for those of you who don't know, Pia Mia, she is a singer, artist, performer, and she's been consistently kind of scaling and growing with as far as her popularity. But anyway, I guess they swapped Pia Mia in, and they said, "Let's have you." This was prior to Nicole agreeing to it. "Let's have you be the lead singer and performer." Now, I thought this was interesting because Pia Mia has such a different look. Right now I think she has brown hair, but in most times, she has blonde hair. She's a very petite girl, and she just seems like a total contrast from Nicole. But anyway, apparently it didn't go well, and people weren't responding the way that
I
they
can't
were
imagine that would
hoping.
work.
So they scrapped Pia Mia and they went back to Nicole. And so Nicole goes, "I agreed to do this, and I ended up paying a ton of money out of my own pocket to make this tour a reality." So in fact, here, let me find this audition tape that I
Well,
found.
I mean, at the end of the day, Nicole kind of is the Pussycat Dolls, so it's kind of
Right.
like It's kind of like I don't even know why you would even suggest getting PME. I don't even know why that would even be a suggestion because it's nobody would go.
I think they wanted to try, Nicole absolutely is the brand, but I think that they have tried times to, highlight some of the other girls, and they've tried to make it happen. They're trying to try to make
Yeah,
Fetch happen,
well, I
and
mean,
Fetch
even
never happened.
stop trying to make fetch happen. No, like it's and even like in her solo career, like she has a very successful solo career. She has she's done plenty of TV and all this kind of stuff. Um, but I can guarantee you that a Pussycat dual tour, a Pussycat Girls tour, Dolls tour would do a lot better than her solo tour. And so like it's kind of like it doesn't really, I don't know how much it really matters who's behind her, but like because she needs to be doing those songs, she needs to be doing it in those environments. I mean, she has definitely has her own songs in her own right, but I mean that's, you got to have at least a couple of them, but
Okay,
you
so
can't replace.
the audio is off on this. Hopefully, we don't get any reverb. Let me pull this in. So I was just kind of doing a search because I want to know. I want to know what Pussycat Dolls looks like and sounds like with Pia Mia, and this was the only thing I could really find. So they did auditions, and so Pia Mia was there with Robin, and they were auditioning girls over the series of a couple of different audition days. For there we go. We see Robin on the left. There we go, hugging Pia Mia. And then this is basically just a compilation video. So then we see these insanely talented dancers doing their thing, and then the process of elimination. So I think this was day 2 now, and then we kind of go forward. We see a lot of fun shots. If you just do a search on YouTube, you can find this. But a lot of fun shots of Pia Mia as they're kind of going through the process, and she's like, "Make sure you document. Give me this for my social media." But in any case, it's quite a rigorous process if you are kind of forming the band, which they were trying to do here. They were going to put
Well,
Pia as the lead performer and then getting
yeah.
the girls that were going to back her up.
I mean, from what I remember, because it's been a long time since I've actually even thought about the Pussycat Dolls. But I mean, they're also like a burlesque show or something too. So was that all just for auditions for the group, or was it for the other licensed Pussycat Dolls? Because like they had a thing, and then it became the group, and then they still did other little things, but it wasn't like the pussy. If I'm remembering that correctly, correct me in the comments. I'm fine being wrong if I'm wrong on that. I'm literally just trying to remember that in the top of my head as I was looking at those auditions. But I mean, I get it though, because she has, maybe Nicole or Robin has, her brand, and she has her thing that she's developed, and she wants to keep it going, and it's kind of like Menudo, where you're kind of just bringing in new members and rotating them and stuff like that. It's kind of hard though when the peak of the Pussycat Dolls and everything that it's kind of like it's with Nicole, and then you got kind of yourself a Van Halen situation where you got David Lee Roth getting replaced by Sammy Hagar. So I mean, they got PME would have been a good attempt, because then maybe you can get a Sammy Hagar at least, because then they got rid of Sammy Hagar, and then they got the Extreme guy, and that just didn't work out for them. So you can switch things around, but it happens very rarely. And you got to have hits. You got to have a hit.
Yeah, so they tried, but in any case, this was part of Nicole's complaint. And in fact, let me pull it up just so we can kind of look at this real fast. So this is the actual cross complaint that Nicole filed. So you can see, her attorney's information. You see the party's information up here. And so in her cross complaint, she's saying breach of contract, misappropriation of common law publicity rights. So that goes to what we were saying. You used my name and likeness without my permission. And then, of course, we get to additional things like fraud, breach of fiduciary duty, and that comes with, actually using monies that Nicole is saying Robin did not have a right to use to spend. So this is the part, Robin self-dealing includes extorting $30,000 in fees. Okay, she wasn't supposed to do that. She wasted another $100,000 on Pia Mia to be Pussycat Dolls' lead singer, buying her an expensive gift. I'm wondering what that expensive gift was. Is anyone else curious about that? She did not last with Pussycat Dolls and provided no benefit to the project, and Robin realized that Pussycat Dolls with Pia Mia would not be successful, therefore approaching Nicole again. And then we get into her deception included, but not limited to, the following. First, she falsely represented to Live Nation about Nicole's knowledge or consent, basically about the whole tour, that she had agreed to the tour. She also made representations to Live Nation to induce them to pay her a $600,000 advance, which she took, although she has never shown Nicole what she did with those funds. Okay, I'm very curious about that. So Robin's misrepresentations to Live Nation prevented Pussycat Dolls from negotiating a better deal once Nicole was participating in the plans for a Pussycat Dolls reunion tour. So, and then this is the piece that I wanted to point out. So Nicole was talking about the expenses she paid, and I think she's saying that she contributed more than $163,000 of her own money to pay Pussycat Doll expenses, which the money Robin took or diverted and could have used to pay, and that to this day has not reimbursed. Ooh, okay.
I hope she kept those receipts, kept those canceled checks.
So that's where obviously, yeah. So, I mean, because it's one thing to be like, you took out a loan, maybe not fraudulently, but kind of fraudulently. You took out a loan fraudulently from Live Nations. You're saying I'm all on board. I wasn't actually on board at the time. I was later. But then, I'm all paying my own money. I'm paying these expenses to try to make this thing happen. So that's the other piece here. If she comes back to the table and she goes, no, I'm entitled to 75%, if she's literally forking up her own money and Robin wasn't, that's what the claim is, then I should be entitled to actually get the chunk of change for this tour.
No, I'm glad that you read that part, because I mean, like, she's putting up her own money and she's not even I hope she has like records of that stuff. I'm sure she does. It's too much money not to, but I'm really curious to see how this kind of turns out, because I'm not seeing a whole lot of coverage on it, but I think it's incredibly interesting, because I know there's a whole other side of controversy with the Pussycat Dolls. Like, we could probably spend like 3 shows just kind of breaking down the inner workings of the Pussycat Dolls and just like all the legal stuff that they've gone into and
all the allegations,
all kinds of crazy stuff. So I mean, they go real deep, but I mean, this is just another level. And it's interesting when a singer is a part of a group. You're seeing a lot of reunion shows of bands. You're seeing a lot of like boy band reunions, and stuff like that. I think you're seeing Backstreet Boys. I know you're seeing New Kids on the Block out there. You're not seeing
and that goes to this question, right? So what was the purpose of waiting a decade for them to reunite? Well, it's not so much waiting a decade, it's just time passes and then you see a money grab opportunity of, we have a great brand and now we're going to come back together and make some money from this, doing a month with 45 tour dates.
But if NSYNC did a reunion tour, you would expect that Justin Timberlake would be getting the most of it, because the only reason why there hasn't been an NSYNC reunion tour is because I'm sure every other member is happy to do it. But it's Justin Timberlake's like, oh, why would I do that? I would make so much more money on my own than splitting it 5 ways with you guys. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, is the juice worth the squeeze, as they say? And then I'm seeing a couple comments in here that I thought were kind of interesting. I agree. Somebody said something about Extreme when we were talking about that Van Halen thing for a minute. Extreme was good, but not in Van Halen. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I actually thought Extreme was a decent band, but I did not like when Gary went to them. And then I saw something else that I thought was pretty interesting.
Some of them are behind on their mortgages. Hey,
could be.
That's exactly why sometimes people, rise from the dead to do a reunion something.
We're better off listening to Josie and the Pussycats. And I'm shouting that out because I was literally listening to the Josie and the Pussycat soundtrack last weekend, because I'm a huge Letters to Cleo fan, and Kay Hanley sings all the music for that movie and stuff. So I was listening to my best of Letters to Cleo / Josie and the Pussycat. So I wanted to shout that out.
So one other thing I wanted to note from the complaints, you should be able to talk because I have the audio off, by the way, but Nicole also co-wrote and was a lead singer in Pussycat Dolls' new hit single and video React without any compensation. So this stood out to me because Nicole obviously was planning on doing this tour, right? She's participating in a new song. Mm-hmm. She's not asking for compensation. So she produced and was going to be the lead performer in the anticipated Australia, UK promotional tour and then this is a really big piece, guys, through her role as a judge on X Factor. She arranged to have the band appear, the girls, what do you want to call it? Pussycat Dolls, to appear on the television program. Talk about massive, relevant exposure. which would renew the public interest in the Pussycat Dolls. She also financed the production expenses for the appearance and was never reimbursed.
What it looks like to me is someone got a hold of her. Someone got a hold of her and it's like, what are you kidding me? You're bringing them on X Factor. You know, you want this thing to be good because this is not only, if this catches, steam overseas and we can bring this tour to America and we can have a hit single. I mean, that's good. What's good for Pussycat Dolls is good for Nicole. So like, especially if she's the one that's co-writing and on these songs. So if she's, she's coming to him, she's like, look, guys, I'm not just showing up and doing the parts. I'm co-writing these things. You know what I mean? I'm getting us all of our major exposure and opportunity. So I'm essentially working like an agent, like on this. But I think someone got a hold of her. I was like, what are you doing? And she's like,
well, right. So her cross complaint is about a year after Robin filed this lawsuit. But, and so the timing is interesting to me, right? So typically, we would answer or cross complain a little bit earlier. But I did see from the docket that her answer was just filed at the same time that this cross complaint was filed. So I don't know why there was this kind of significant delay. Maybe they were trying to resolve this. There was informal resolution. That happens. So we say, hey, court, hold tight. We're going to try to get this resolved. They didn't. But, it goes back to, will Robin be successful on her original complaint, saying that Nicole breached the contract because we had these terms. Nicole came back, got greedy, wanted 75%. Where this kind of lives and dies for me is, was that actually the terms that they had agreed to?
right.
Was that something simply kind of in discussion? And that's where contract law, can kind of, make this successful for Robin or not.
But it is interesting. It is very interesting to see how, like, because it happened a year later and because it's, it's still kind of just to where it goes. And now if you are, the other sides, if you are, Robin's attorney, are you just like, ugh, like, cause you're like, maybe you're feeling like you're making some headway over this last year. And now you got this whole new thing that you have to address and like take care of.
Litigation attorneys, I do enough litigation, but I'm friends with enough litigators that I know this is all just part and parcel. We are getting into wars and motioning and doing all kinds of stuff over procedural stuff that's nothing to do with the case. I mean, that's why we tell clients, if you want to go the lawsuit route, then let's do it. But we're going to be in court for sometimes years. Right. It gets a little messy. So in any case, we're going to definitely be following this.
Yeah. She's like, and, I hate this part right here.
Stop it.
I love Pussycat Dolls. I think they're good.
No, what was that? Come on. Like, when I grow up, I mean.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I did a whole, we never actually recorded it, but I made a whole music bed because I wanted to cover that song, but we never ended up tracking it for one of our cover songs. But no, I totally wanted to do When I Grow Up.
Yes. So guys, we'll be sure, make sure you leave your comment down below, particularly if you're watching this later. Are you on Robin's side? Are you on Nicole's side? What's your interpretation of what we kind of read through together? Leave us your thoughts down below. All right, let's move on. Let's see what else we got. Y'all in the chat, thank you for all participating and making friends, I see.
Amy Lee did that interview.
Oh, that's right. We have another Evanescence story. You guys like it when we cover Evanescence, so we're going to jump into this. We like it too. All right. Evanescence, Amy Lee talks favorite corn song, new lineup, future music, and for us, the piece that we've been covering is specifically the lineup and the fact that they fired Jen Marjura, and, replaced her with the longtime Evanescence bassist Tim McCord. Emma Onze now plays bass, and she's from Sick Puppies. And so they had this whole change, but where the rub came in is that whereas, Evanescence Amy Lee had been posting, we've decided just to go different directions. We love her so much. Best of luck. And Jen's like, I didn't know this was going to happen. And then she went and did an interview, which we covered, but she went and did an interview and said, I was so blindsided. I was literally in my apartment packing for the tour that we were about to go on. And then I got a call and she found out about it from the actual, post. And so she just goes, it was just crazy. And I felt just the rug had been ripped out from underneath me.
make sure that you check out some of those other Evanescence videos. If you go into our, videos and you just type in Evanescence to search those out specifically, they're pretty interesting. So we also talk about just, being a hired gun in a band, and when you've been doing it for many years, and at some point you think you're going to be included as an official member of the band, but maybe you just kind of stay in hired gun, and what's that mean, and when is it appropriate to ask for more money, or like just kind of
Or
knowing your
ownership.
place, ownership.
Sometimes it's ownership in the music.
So I mean,
I have deals that I'm doing all the time for bands, even right now. These band members who are a part of these massive bands who are super successful, but someone owns it. Like, let's say it's a lead singer that owns the band, or it's a record label that owns the band. And so they're basically just hired guns. And you see this a lot in different territories outside the United States, but in the United States as well. So anyway, now we have Amy Lee. She did this interview and she had a couple things to say. So we'll
what
start
you
with
say?
we'll
What's Amy
start with
talking
just
about?
the she loves corn, and she referenced and I remember, do you guys remember the Freak on a Leash duet that she did with Corn at the MTV Unplugged
Unplugged, yeah.
appearance? Like, for me, as a fan of Corn, as a fan of Evanescence, I loved that performance. It was so epic. But anyway, it's been a hot minute since she has done anything with them, which is surprising to me. I know they took obviously a huge break, as Evanescence, the band. But in any case, they are back. So Korn Evanescence Tour is August 16th through September 16th, and various bands will be included, p.s.t, and
Yeah.
more. And I guess Amy Lee said that her favorite Korn song is Falling Away From Me. I think that's a
No,
favorite
that's
for a lot of us.
yeah, it's a good cut. Also on that tour is Helmet. I don't want you to miss the fact that Helmet is also on that tour, which is a very cool band. Um, but yeah, no, and just to we like to cover some of these artists when we can, because we actually literally cover these artists. So Miss Krystle has done her Evanescence cover of "Call Me When You're Sober," and we've also done a Korn cover of "Make Me Bad," which you can find on the Miss Krystle YouTube channel. We have videos there for it, but dark pop versions. But no, like I think this is a perfect tour. I think this is a perfect tour for Evanescence and Korn. I think it's a great way to see, both of those bands, to see people that are just kind of, top in their field, really kind of doing their thing. But yeah. So in this interview though, she was talking about just what, why a little bit about the departure um of Jen. And she was like, it's hard to explain what I'm saying without being specific. We all love Jen. We had a great time with Jen. Don't want to make it like anything negative there, but sometimes that chapter just ends. And when you feel that, that as a band, and that you need to keep things going. That's how you keep your team, your band, and everything healthy and moving in the way it's supposed to
All right,
move.
so let me just go back to sometimes that chapter just ends and you feel that that it's a band and you gotta just keep going.
Yeah.
I'm reading between the lines there as someone who's been in bands. I've had bands for my project, Miss Krystle. I feel like she's saying, kind of telling the story of, and I'm not saying this happened. Jen seems like an amazing person,
Speculating.
but almost like, when a band member becomes a negative kind of existence in the band, and
Right.
they're not showing
Right.
up, or they're not putting in the effort. And it's just someone who's like, still, you love them, they're family, they've been with you in this case for 6 years. But there's just something where they're now making this not a great experience for everyone else. And so they're like, we just need a fresh whatever. And I kind of feel like that's what she's trying to say. She's like, I'm not trying to be negative about it. It just was like, we were done. Like,
Yeah.
we needed to move on.
And that's kind of anything that I've kind of heard come out of that camp is just like, no, 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 no. Like, she's great. She's great. She's great. It's just like I don't want to, she doesn't want to hurt Jen's money in the future, or who she's working with and something like that. You know what I mean? But she's just kind of like, I don't know, man. She's just kind of, she was always like bitching about how hot it was when we'd go play
Right.
shows, or, you know
Right.
what I mean? Like, she's like, I don't know, like she's always on the phone, like arguing with her significant other, or, whoever. And like, or there's just a personality, just person. I don't know. Like she keeps trying to throw these parts into the song, and she's complaining because she's not writing. And I'm just like, ugh, like, I don't want you to write. She
For
submitted some
me,
songs.
I can say from my personal experience that negativity and people who complain, for me over a long period of time, as much as you love someone and they become like a family member, those are the people that are the most poison is in the band. And for me, that it was just kind of non-negotiable after a period because you just can't have that energy in the band. You guys are already fighting the good fight and you're trying to be successful and fighting against the world and haters and all this stuff. And by the way, someone had said, didn't Evanescence cover Korn? Yes, Evanescence did Thoughtless. I almost did Thoughtless as a cover. I ended up doing Make Me
Oh,
Bad.
that's right. That's right. That was the first one. That was the first one. I couldn't.
Yeah, so
I
I
messed up the
covered Korn as
production.
well.
I did a terrible job on the production on that Thoughtless.
I know, but you thought you did. You thought you weren't loving "Make Me Bad," and "Make Me Bad" is still like one of my top songs on Spotify. You guys love that cover.
No, sometimes, and that's a thing for producers too. Is like sometimes, like you really just have no idea. I mean, there's songs that we have done that, like even we did when we did "Save Yourself" when we first released "Save Yourself." Like now, I absolutely love that song. I love it when we perform it. I think it's one of our strongest songs. But like when we were sending it off to the mixer, I was just like, ugh, like I wasn't really feeling that song. There was something about it that I wasn't really feeling. But I had no idea, and it's one of our most popular songs. It's one that people really know us from, and I've actually really grown to like it. So you never really
Yeah,
know.
no, I love that song. So this comment from Rick. Do you know if this is accurate or not? So I would think that this is true, but I also would think wasn't true, right? Because for a lot of artists earlier in their career, they get screwed and they sign the bad deals and they don't own anything. But I wouldn't be surprised if he had maybe purchased back his masters. I
I
don't know.
don't
I
know
don't know
about
the
that.
answer to
I would like
this.
to look. I would like to look into that. I love the Coop. We've seen the Coop. We've seen the Coop
He's the
live.
best.
Love
He is
so good,
amazing. Like you could
so
just be like, oh,
good.
he's a little older now. No, he
No,
slays. He has the 20-year-olds up on the stage with him, and he's just
he's incredible.
slaying. Yes,
Love the
this
Coop.
this collaboration, and they've toured. I think they just finished a tour together as well recently. They tour together all the time. Anything that they do together is great. It makes so much sense, collectively, and they are just like two strong, badass women. So I love seeing that. All right, let's get caught up
But I am
here.
excited. I am excited to see what Evanescence is up to, though. I know they've had, we also covered a great interview that Amy Lee did talking about like kind of like the beginnings of Evanescence, and the history behind Bring Me to Life, and just kind of like her battles with the record label and just going back and forth, and how they were like kind of like dropped and like, come on back, and when you have to kind of like swallow your ego, when you got to kind of just make art sacrifices and all kinds of stuff. So make sure that you check that video out on the channel as well. It's a really good video, really good video.
Yeah, seen the interview. Yeah, guys. So we'll as always, we love covering Evanescence, and basically a lot of those bands in
Any
that
excuse to do it.
genre. Yeah, so we had to just kind of touch on this just because she had specifically given a commentary about it. So we'll continue to cover it. All right, so moving on. Now, I think we're gonna do a quick artist tip. I'm feeling a little raspy. I feel like I need to like clear my throat or something.
Well, that'll give me an opportunity to remind people of a couple things that we got going on, right? So we just released our middle of the night single cover. So that video is up on YouTube right now, as well as on all streaming platforms. You can listen to it. We're going to be preparing it after the end of the show, so make sure that you stay tuned for that. We are also doing our artist reviews. Make sure that if you are an independent artist, if you have a brother, cousin, friend that's an independent artist, we all know people that are making music now. Everybody and their sister is either a photographer, or filmmaker, or a musician, or a model. So, somebody, let them know they can get, we will be playing some of your music. We'll be answering your questions and helping you with your next steps on your career and stuff. And we love hearing what the community is up to. It's really an opportunity for you to take advantage of, chewing the ear of an entertainment attorney that, where you would be paying, $400 if you hired an attorney to have the kind of consultation that she's trying to hook you up with online. So it's a great opportunity, and you get to, show the community what you got. So that's all
Yeah,
the info on there.
yeah. Yes, Sean, we do need to hydrate. Okay. I'll do that at some point. So if I'm clearing my throat, we're just going to do it. We're going to keep cruising. That Orko, thank you for being here. We will
Thank you
see you
guys so
on
much. Love
Tuesday.
the community. Please hit like before you leave the stream today. It helps us so much, and share us out. We're really trying to grow this thing, and I just really appreciate y'all being here. All right, y'all. Peace.
Hey, all right. So we are going to do this little tip segment, and then we're going to do the re-premiere of Middle of the Night. I'm very excited. We're going to re-premiere it here. Why not? So if you can, stick around and then we'll watch it together. Make sure you leave your questions as far as what I'm talking about, because that way I can address them when we're done with the actual segment. So without further ado, why don't we jump into this? I'm like, what am I talking about today? Let me pull up my notes. All right, here we go. For today's music business tip, I'm going to be answering the question, should an artist give a manager power of attorney? Now, make sure you watch until the end because the answer might surprise you. But before we get started, make sure you share this video. I appreciate you guys, of course, liking, commenting, all that really helps with our YouTube algorithm. But when you actually share this directly with another artist, it's going to help because word of mouth is the most powerful way to share out the content. I do all the content on this channel for free because I want to help artists. I want to help artists starting their own record labels and basically everyone in between who's trying to figure out how the music business works, how to stay legally protected. So if you could, I would appreciate it so much. I love your guys' faces. So let's jump into it. What is power of attorney? You're probably, asking the question. You probably clicked on this video because you saw there's language in your contract that says manager gets power of attorney. Power of attorney is the authority to act for another person, specifically in a legal and or financial capacity. So you're giving someone a lot of power to act on your behalf, okay? That includes things like signing contracts, sending and taking money. It's a big deal. So that's why I think people can get a little concerned when they see in their contract, manager, who you probably don't know, new manager is going to have power of attorney over you. So then going back to the question of, does an artist need to give that power to a manager? And let's talk about what's industry standard. I'm going to cover all of that. So in your standard management agreement, you may see this language in different type of contracts, but the most common place that it comes up is a management agreement. And it's going to be in a section where it defines the rights and authority of the manager. Here's all the stuff that the manager can and maybe will do for your career. It's usually pretty broad. I have a template that, I give to a lot of artists, and let me kind of go through what's in a stereotypical, excuse me, clearing. All right, we're trying again. Sorry. So let me go through kind of what's in a stereotypical list. And the first is going to be, manager is hereby appointed to be the true and lawful attorney in fact to do any of the following on behalf of the artist during the term of the agreement. And this is usually a pretty extensive list. So it's going to be things like to approve and authorize publicity, right? So to give permission to the press to use your name and likeness, to use your photos, to execute contracts on behalf of the artist, right? To negotiate. I'll tell you what, for a lot of, and I won't say just big artists, right? The big famous artists that, my law office works with, but it's pretty common that we would deal with the manager for a lot of what's going on with contract negotiation and the transactional components. Oftentimes, this is a job that artists do want to hand off because, they're busy, right? Artists are making music, they're doing the creative stuff. And so if you have a manager that you trust, the manager often will step in and take over the job of negotiating and getting the contract signed. But that includes that the manager is signing the contract on your behalf, okay? So then continuing on, it's going to be things like to demand for, sue, collect, recover monies, right? So to actually even sue on your behalf. So we're getting more into operations. The manager is there to make your life easier. The manager is there to be you. And so in order to be you, the manager needs to have that power of attorney, or so they request in these contracts, okay? To execute for the artist in artist name, all agreements, documents, contracts for services, talents, right? Because oftentimes the manager is going to go and hire your, let's say, booking agent, right? That's a common thing. So we see this list of what the manager is empowered to do. And because a lot of this has legal implications, Another person cannot go and sign contracts on your behalf. Another person cannot go and, sue and collect money on your behalf. That's why you see this language in the contract. But I'm going to give you a pro tip that's going to make you feel a lot more comfortable when you see this language in your contract. And that's in addition to the language of what we just went over. Manager is hereby appointed as artist's exclusive, true, and lawful attorney in fact to do all the following stuff. You are going to make sure in your contract that it says with prior written approval from artist. Okay, so in every instance of your manager doing something on your behalf, you need to make sure that it says in the contract specifically that the manager has to get not only your approval, okay, so you know what's happening in your career, which you need to know, but you need to make sure it's actually in writing. Because if it's just, you have verbal, oh, I thought I called you, I did call you, it gets a lot more tricky to actually document. So the good thing, written approval, it can be text messages, it can be emails. It's not going to slow down the process of what you guys are trying to do, but you need to make sure it is in writing in case something happens. And in case now the manager is taking action, which has happened many a times, that the manager starts doing stuff without your consent. Okay? So for my pro tip, never ever feel like you're in this passive position and the manager's going to come and make you a big star, which is what a lot of managers are going to sell you. A lot of them are lying. Either way, even if you get a badass manager who has represented some of the most badass artists and you're so excited to work with that person, you should never be in a position where you don't know what is going on with your career, that you are not giving your prior written approval and permission for the manager to do these things on your behalf. And that's why I specifically wanted to cover this. Now, as far as the free management agreement that I have, the reason I specifically am mentioning this is because if you go to a law office, you're going to pay like $1,000 to get your management contract. I have it for you for free. And it has all that language that I just described for you. And it comes with my $25 book, which you probably can get even cheaper through Amazon if you just get Kindle or something. But in any case, get the contract as, the template. And then with the book, you get all the additional contracts that you need to stay legally protected in your music career. But make sure that if you don't get the contract, if you don't get that free template, if you have a separate agreement that you're using, just make sure you have that prior written approval language in your agreement. Make sure you subscribe, all right? And like I said, the best thing that you can do if you appreciate the content on this channel from this video, if you found this helpful, just send this video to one other artist that you know, and that would be incredibly helpful. All right, guys, let's jump back in. What do we got going on? Rick on YouTube, you have a link so I can check out your music. You can just search Miss Krystle on all music platforms. There may be a link already down in the description. I don't know what we have. It depends on what platform you're watching on. But just check the description. Otherwise, just search Miss Krystle. Chris says, definitely no. Do not give anyone else control over your brand. Hey, I think Chris makes a good point. And I kind of mentioned this at the beginning of the video, and I said, most of the time, you don't know the manager. A lot of the times when you're signing these management agreements is because someone approached you and they're like, oh, I'm going to make you a big star. And they sell you on a big dream. And then they say, but I want you to sign this agreement that ensures I get my percentage and there's a sunset clause and all this stuff. And, you don't want to miss out on the opportunity. So you sign. And so if you are going to sign, I don't care if it's with the trusted family member of 10 years, it's with someone who just approached you a month ago. You got to make sure that you have a solid contract. You will get screwed. Okay? And you got to make sure that there is a way for you to protect yourself with how the contract is actually drafted. Question, can you have a manager be the power of attorney, but say that they still have to run things by you first? It's just their job to go and handle all this stuff. Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of where, when it comes to having a manager, what that role specifically is. We have like Pitbull. Pitbull has 8 managers, right, at any given point. And so there can be the business manager. And it's the guy who's in charge of the finances and making sure everyone's getting paid properly. And then you have like an administrative manager. This is the person who is in charge of the day-to-day and bookings. And then you have a personal manager who's going to help with getting the coffee and getting the dry cleaning. And obviously more substantive things as well, negotiating, doing the deals. And so defining what the role is really important. But for me, making sure that the team, which includes the manager, knows that they need to get prior written permission from you, ooh, that's an important one. That is why we love, oh, thank you, You and Your Opinions and book. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, if you guys want to get the book, you can get it lots of places, but topmusicattorney.com. Download it there, and you'll get all those contract templates for free. All right, so with that being said, we're going to be watching Middle of the Night as a second premiere. I'm very excited. I hope you guys stay on through and then listen to the song over the weekend if you like it. And, you know, the video is hosted on Miss Krystle YouTube. And so if you want to rewatch it, you can there, but we will be playing it here on this channel. Make sure you hit like as you are watching. That helps to push us out to all the YouTube places and space. And I love your faces. I'm going to go in the chat. I'm going to be chatting with you, and we will see you on the next one, Tuesday at 7 p.m. p.s.t. I'm top music attorney, Miss Krystle, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
I summoned you, please come to me. Don't bury thoughts that you really want. I fill you up, drink from my cup. Within me lies what you really want. Come, lay me down, 'cause you know this, 'cause you know this. In the middle of the night, in the middle of the night, just call my name, I'm yours to take. In the middle of the night, in the middle of the night, I'm wide awake, I crave your taste all night long. Till morning comes, I'm getting what is mine, you gon' get yours, oh no. In the middle of the night, in the middle of the night, oh no. These burning flames, these crashing waves wash over me like a hurricane. I captivate, you're hypnotized, feel powerful, but it's me again. Come, lay me down, 'cause I know this, 'cause I know this show. In the middle of the night, in the middle of the night, just call my name, I'm yours to take. In the middle of the night, in the middle of the night, I'm wide awake, I crave your taste all night long. Till morning comes, I'm getting what is mine, you gon' get yours, oh no. In the middle of the night, in the middle of the night, oh no. In the middle of the night, in the middle of the night, just call my name, I'm yours to take. In the middle of the night, in the middle of the night, I'm wide awake, I crave your taste all night long. Till morning comes, I'm getting what is mine, you gon' get yours, oh no. In the middle of the night, in the middle of the night, oh no. Just call on me, oh, just call my name, like you mean it. In the middle of the night, just call my name, I'm yours to take. In the middle of the night, in the middle of the night, I'm wide awake, I crave your taste all night long. Till morning comes, I'm getting what is mine, you gon' get yours, oh no. In the middle of the night, in the middle of the night, oh no.